Hello, this is Don Spencer, President of Oklahoma Second Amendment Association. I want to go over a bill that is one of our premier bills for this year, and it is the Private Property Protection Act, Senate Bill 80, and it's being carried by Senator Bergstrom. The House version is House Bill 2051, and that is being introduced by Representative Hardin. But I'm going to be reading from and dealing from the Senate version of this bill and go over what it does. The Private Property Protection Act is so way overdue for Oklahoma's rights to protect themselves and property. What this bill does is that under current law, we have the castle doctrine, which is the walls of your home. Inside the walls of your home, you have the right to expect absolute safety within those walls. OK2A worked to make sure that it was expanded to include now a business within those walls. And also, we worked to make sure that places of worship were also included in the walls. Absolute safety means if a perpetrator, someone's trying to break in or harm you while they're already in, you have the right to self-defense. And there's the word weapon, gun, firearm doesn't exist. So whatever you can pick up or whatever you use for self-defense inside the walls of your home, your business, or place of worship, it all counts for self-defense. It is justified. Now, what we're working in this bill and what it does is it expands that all the way to the edge of the property and includes the property. So especially farmers out in the middle of nowhere, if someone's breaking in and stealing a tractor or a cow or a horse or anything like that, or if you have a detached garage, this has always been questionable whether you could defend yourself or your property on this. The answer has been no under current state law. The defense of property under Oklahoma current law just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And what this does is it brings us inconsistent with Texas, who's had this since 1845. And I personally believe that this will help immensely in dropping insurance rates, simply because the fact that a person, if need be, can use a firearm to defend themselves or their property. And so here's some important key points of this. Now, what it does do also, it clarifies, guys, misdemeanor pointing of a firearm. What that means is if you're stupid, which would be involved in this, if you pull your weapon out of a holster, if you just turn around, or a gun and you just pointing at someone else, if you're at the gun range or something, that's an incidental pointing, but it's still a crime. And so what this does is it clarifies, because you were automatically in jail for 3 months. So what this does is it gives the judge's discretion that he can decide how much time that would be, up to 12 months, which is partially already consistent with state law. And we're doing basically, it'll also address felony pointing too, and felony is intentional pointing. So, but again, it does not apply to the act of self-defense. So if someone, you hear someone breaking into your car at night, you go outside, you have your firearm, you point it at them because you're concerned for your own safety or your property, this is clarified that you can do exactly that. Also, we have outlined in here the defensive display of a firearm. Under current law, even if you just pull your jacket back and show that you have a gun, or you say, I have a gun, it is technically an act of deadly force, and deadly force can be used against you, which is crazy. So what this bill does is it clarifies that you can say, verbally warn them, I have a gun, you need to leave my property. You can pull your coat back, show I have a gun, you need to leave your property. If you have to pull the gun, it's clear that your intent is to defend yourself and your property. And for any perpetrator or intruder needs to leave, obviously, because of that, you're showing the weapon as for self-defense, and it would not be a criminal act against the homeowner or the property owner for doing so. Now, let's be perfectly clear, guys. This doesn't mean you can antagonize your neighbor and they walk over to your yard and you can start pointing a gun at them. No, not even close. Don't even think about it. This is for the act of self-defense. And so you cannot intentionally provoke someone for this to happen. So that, again, that's related to the defensive display of a firearm. And it goes through here some other clarifying places, but the main important thing is that in the language in 1289.25, which is also page about 10 of the bill, it clarifies that it's referring to an occupied premise. So if someone is on the premise, and it makes sure that this can be anyone you've given permission to, this could even be an authorized user or agent, which could be, you know, if you caught someone there mowing your yard or painting the house and they come up to get robbed, that they can defend themselves also. So this is some of those things that it makes sure that it clarifies that can take place. It also clarifies that in definitions of a building or dwelling and stuff like that on it also. But this is Senate Bill 80, the Private Property Protection Act. It is, like I say, one of our premier bills for this year. Make sure you contact your state senator or your state representative and let them know this is important and it needs to be passed. And we're looking forward to having more legislation we'll deal with in the next legislative session. This is Don Spencer, President of Oklahoma Second Amendment Association. I will talk to you later.